with Penta Moisture Lock and pH 5.5 for soft winter-ready skin. Himalaya Gentle Baby Lotion and Gentle Baby Cream. Loved by babies for first winter.
Being the mandate the Honorable Prime Minister has given all of us, this is also a true reflection where citizens and the future builders of Vikasit Bharat can engage with the Honorable Minister herself. So for all of you, those of you, I know many of you are policy students, some of you come from economics background. Ma'am herself is from the economics background. And it's an opportunity of a lifetime for you to engage and ask her questions. And with Madam's permission, they also would like to know a few things about what does it mean to be a woman leader in the country and stuff like that, ma'am. So and when you were a student, so they have a lot of things to ask of you. Now, budget preparation is a long process. We only see here on the presentation at Parliament on the day of the budget, but there's so much that happens. I would like you, madam, to explain to these young people what the process is, how many people work with you to make this happen. Now, all of us appreciate the budget, the enormity of it, the complexity of it, but we just see you presenting. In 90 minutes is all that we see, but there's so much of hard work that goes on, and for the youth of India, they need to understand what makes it happen, that today happens so smoothly.
Well, thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here. You're all the future leaders this country is looking, and the budget and the activity that we do is only paving the way for you all. So interaction with the youth is always something which every leader looks forward to, I believe. But I'm in particular interested because I've always had this opportunity to relate and talk to you youngsters, because I used to be a part of a school, an experimental school, and therefore it's been happy augury for me to be in touch with youngsters. And now this time my team thought of doing something out of the ordinary, saying you go after presenting the budget to each one of the studios or each one of the newspapers and give them interviews and do things like that. Why don't you do something different this time? And therefore they thought that they'll get in touch with universities and come with a group of students with whom you can do this interaction. And that's how this has worked out, and it's so nice. I hope you had a good stay last evening and you were taken care of. And I'll certainly like to know from you, how was the experience of sitting in the Parliament and listening to a budget? I must say my own experience when I was a college student, when I had come to Delhi, I didn't watch a budget session, but I did attend the Parliament. It was awe-inspiring, my God. Those days, those leaders, whoever they were, whichever party they belonged to, but it makes you feel, wow, look at them sitting, oh, that is that person. I went back home, saying, literally my parents asked me, who did you see in Delhi? What's your face like? It was all like in my eyes. God, could I see them sitting there in the house and perform? And at that time, I wouldn't have had an imagination or a dream or even a remote thought that I'll be blessed enough to be here, sitting in the same Parliament. And that's why I think I want you all to keep that hope alive. Many of you all can be in the Parliament. Build yourself for that. That's what India wants. We don't want cynical youngsters. We don't want, negative spreading youngsters. You want to see hope, not for anybody else, for yourself. You can come here, you can be here, and you can make a difference to this country. So keep your spirit up. And I'm actually today looking forward to hearing on that score from you all. Tell me what you're looking forward to, what you want this country to be. And I can every now and then tell you what is a country I was born and I was brought up, and to what is this country where I'm living now. Both are Indias. But that India, I wouldn't want any of you all to remember, because you wouldn't have been born then, but that's not the India we want anymore in the future for anybody. We want a better India. I'm not saying everything which happened in the past is bad, but because of the way in which economies grew after coming out of imperialism, our pace of growth, our type of growth, our type of governance made it delayed. Everything was delayed. See, what happens is, Formally, it starts sometime in November, late October, when we call different industry groups, different, businesses, specialists or economists who watch the Indian economy. In batches, we call them, and the entire finance ministry's officials sit and listen to what they think should be done next. And in this, then trade unions come, or interest groups come, and they also give their viewpoint. Some particular industries which are hard-pressed because of some situation, they come, emergency, we want you to do it, otherwise we'll be doomed. Even that kind of representation happens. So all this is collected. In this era of social media, we also put it out in public saying, anyone who wants to come to give any opinion, not physically, but through social media, do contact this particular handle and put your ideas across. We collect all that. So everything is looked into. And after that, a first cut is made of these things can happen. Then that concerned department is invited to discuss. See, we had some representation from farmers. They want this. Are you okay? Agriculture, Department of Agriculture, will you do this? Then somebody else comes with textile sector problem for weavers. We sit with the concerned ministry to say, hey, textiles, do you want to do this? Sometimes they say, oh yes, brilliant idea. Some other times they would say, this is already a scheme with us. But if it's already a scheme with you, why didn't the people know about it? So like that, dialogue happens with the concerned departments. Not just the departments, I also hold, as finance minister, I hold a meeting with finance ministers of the states. So I sit with them and ask them, tell me what ideas you have. Each one will get only 5 minutes to talk because all the 30 will have to speak union territories. And so other than what they speak, they submit a memorandum and go, please do this. From that also we take ideas because they are relevant to states' own request and requirement. So all these are put together. Then we sit and cost it, saying how much will it mean to Government of India? This year, next year, 5 years. And after that is when we think an idea is workable. Because when you say an idea is workable, somebody should take the responsibility to implement it. And also correct course if something is going wrong. And also come back to say money is fully utilized. It has reached the last person who needs to be approached. And then independently, of course, the CAG and others will audit and account and everything else. So this whole process goes through this. Afterwards, a first draft is made. And that first draft with which we call the ministries again to say, this is the shape and contour this particular scheme is taking up. Are you sure you will implement it? Then when everything is finally decided is when I start writing my speech. The speech writing goes through about 3-4 iterations, meaning एक बार पढ़ लिया मगर उसमें बहुत सारे correction. दूसरे बार पढ़ लिया that language is not legal. You know, I say something about you will be given tax exemption. And somebody else takes me to court, hey, finance minister said you will give tax exemption. क्यों नहीं दे रही हो? The language should be appropriate. So it is vetted for that. Then finally again, the language is vetted because nobody wants to hear a finance minister 3 hours. I've done that also, 2.5 hours, and people hated me for it. Said, what the hell? We want to hear the budget all right, but not this long. So it has to be crisp. It has to say so many things, but it has to be within the time limit. So that's how much of preparation happens.
One question which I would like to begin with, and then we can go to the students now. This is your 9th consecutive budget. I think this is the first time in India any finance minister has presented 9 consecutive budgets. You had an opportunity to incrementally build on the original idea of looking at the future, at the same time solving problems of today. In the world of public policy, when we teach our students, we always say the biggest challenge for political leadership is to balance long-termism with short-termism. That's something you have done so well in the last 9 years, and we are seeing you pre-COVID, we are seeing you during COVID, and now post-COVID. Possibly, I don't think any finance minister in the world has had this kind of a demand placed on them. From your perspective and experience, ma'am, how was your understanding of India's economic priorities? Because they changed so rapidly in the last decade, and you have to face all that. And how was your thinking each year influence the subsequent year? And how do we, as these young people here, because you're talking about Vikasit Bharat 2047. You're actually preparing them for it. At the same time, you have to solve people's problems today. How do you balance all this? And how do you actually ensure that no stakeholder feels left out?
It's a very difficult task. I won't say I managed to do it. I don't think I'm sure every year if I have achieved it, but I try to. Balancing is a very difficult thing. On the one hand, you want to ensure that the minimum support system that the government has to provide for those who are in desperate need is met. But yet, not all money can just go for that. You need to build the country physically. You need the infrastructure, you need the village roads, you need the hospitals, you also need good schools and so on. And above all, the country's defense cannot be compromised with. So Operation Sindoor actually told you what kind of money spent in the last 10 years has come of hell. And I know when I was in defense, bulletproof jackets were not available for our soldiers. They would have a gun in their hand, but they didn't have the bullet which goes into it. The gun se kuch nahi hota, firepower hona hai. So in that sense, you're looking at priorities. You want your nation to be secure. At the same time, you want the farmers to produce enough. And even if they produce, who's going to buy it from them? And if they are bought, they should be bought at a reasonable price. Equally, that price may not be suitable for the market because consumers might say it's too expensive. We'll have to ensure that some kind of a subsidy is provided. So there are conflicting demands. Managing the conflicting demand is the problem which every finance minister faces. You cannot tax every time you want additional resource, but you need money. So these are the kind of things which come every year. But we had a special, unique and once-in-a-century problem of COVID. We had given a promise. Prime Minister was very clear, I don't want 1 rupee tax put on the citizens. But we needed to get vaccine, whether produced in India or imported, but we didn't import, produced in India. And that has to be distributed to all citizens. Life was to be saved. We can't ask a citizen saying, 500 rupiya de do ek injection ke liye. So it was offered muft. Where do I get the money from? So there were times during these last 5-6 years when we had to, without fear or without any hesitation, borrow money and perform. But once we recovered from it and there was a very clear sign of, growth happening, we had to repay the money, to get out of debt situation sooner so that our citizens are not burdened. Debt for a government is intergenerational, meaning I borrow today, but I'm not here to pay back. Who pays back? Whatever government whenever they come. And what is government? After all, it's citizens' money that they take and pay. So today what your parents get from the government is paid by the grandchildren. That's no good. You need to make sure the economy functions on its own revenue. So these are conflicting interests with which one has to work. So balancing is important. So my priority, therefore, if growth happens, if good growth happens, the fruits of growth will reach all citizens. And if it reaches all citizens, they have the money to buy, they have the money to spend, and therefore somewhere the revenue will be generated. But if growth doesn't happen and we are stagnating, opportunities for people are not given, so they will be sitting with nothing in their hand. They can't create any demand for me. They can't go to the market, buy a thing, or because they buy the thing, there cannot be somebody who's producing it. And because somebody is not producing, nobody gets a job. It's a cyclical problem. And that is why growth is the primary priority. Sustain it at that level. World's fastest growing economy. We need to be at that level of 7%, 8% growth. So everything that I do will have to be for sustaining that growth. Spend it in the right direction. Make infrastructure, the people who are living near it will benefit. Cement industries will benefit. Steel industries will benefit. Those who work in those companies will benefit. So it's a cycle of measures which promote the economy. So growth, and growth is my priority because that can create jobs, that can bring more people into workforce, and because of that more productivity can happen. But of course we are living in a technology driven world. We need to bring technology. Every one of you all, be it an IT specialist, be it an engineer or not, technology helps each one of us. I need to bring technology to every school, every college. Today we've announced, even for content creators who do animation, for instance. We've said 1,500 schools will have content labs, content creating labs. Similarly, 500 college will have them. That will be provided in this budget. So we have to go on bringing in technology into our lives, just so it doesn't eat away our jobs, but we should be removing monotony from our work using technology, and so on, many other things.
If you can just raise your hands, I can just call one of you. Yeah, Rashmi, if you would like to start off.
Some mics, they're there at the desk.
Good evening, ma'am. It's an honor to be
If
here.
you're okay, you can sit and talk.
I would like to start.
Okay.
It was an immense pleasure to be invited here and also be in the parliament and view the budget live. We would like to understand from you is, as a woman finance minister of the country, you have been in the front row seeing the struggles that women face in labor and workforce. Despite sustained economic growth in our country, women's participation in labor force has been a bit low, specifically in industry and service sector. So what is your opinion on that as a woman as well as the finance minister of our country?
Women coming into workforce is something which will have to be encouraged. There's no doubt.
इस बार परीक्षा पे चर्चा का होगा एक नया रूप, कुछ नई जगहें और एक नया सफर बच्चों तक पहुंचने का, उनकी कहानियों से जुड़ने का।
ये हमने ऐसा अपने सपने में भी नहीं सोचा था कि नरेंद्र मोदी जी खुद हमसे मिलेंगे।
यहाँ स्ट्रेस होगा कम और स्माइल्स होंगी ज्यादा।
आपके लिए चाय
तो मुझे चाय बनानी होगी।
तो तैयार हो जाएं, आ रहा है
Security and safety of women workers, particularly if you've given extended work hours and they have to return home or come to work in late hours. Necessary safety and precautionary measures should be there, for which we bring in certain laws through which we encourage. Other than that, employers nowadays understand the value addition that women workforce bring in, because they see efficiencies. I'm not saying men are inefficient, but the drive in women and the precision that they bring in with their fingers, people are realizing it, and therefore you find semi-skilled workers, more women are coming in. And of course my grievance is in the boardrooms there are not very many women. We need them to come into higher positions also, so that they can influence decision making and be exemplars, so that others can also come to such position. So more work has got to be done. I'm proud of one thing, that much before, as soon as we came into power, Prime Minister Modi decided that he's going to extend this maternity related facility which is given. It was about 4 weeks or something. It's been now raised to 6 full months. So there are several other measures also. I don't want to elaborate every achievement of the government, but one thing is beyond government. No government can do anything in it, and that is the attitude of us, each one of them, each one of us. Sometimes inadvertently, even if we want to be at par with the value systems of people around us, sometimes we let go some prejudices which are lying hidden in us. Not that we cherish or nourish it, but hai andar, aa jata hai baat mein. Arey ye kya kapda pehna ho? Ye kya kar rahe ho? Looking at women as somebody who can receive ideas. I can tell them, hey, aise nahi karna chahiye. We as women will never look at a guy, hey, nahi, aise nahi karna chahiye. We won't do. It's just, I don't think the person intends to be nasty, but sometimes hidden prejudices come out. I'll take my own example and tell you this. Every year it becomes a strain on me because what are you going to wear on budget day? You know, I dare ask this. Would they have ever asked a male finance minister, "Saab, kal budget ke samay kya pehen rahe ho?" They won't ask it of a man, but no, even this is a subject of budget. Arey, sari kaun sa? Theek hai, when I come in a sari and you like it, you say, "Hey, lovely sari." But you don't say, what is she going to wear? I mean, what's she going to read? What's she going to tell us? Uska mahatva do na. I don't find it harmful. But interest when it is woman, it pans across the substance and goes away on directions which are not necessary. So that becomes a stress point for women. Man, I'm out of it now. I will wear what I want to wear. That's it, finish. But it becomes a subject of discussion beyond the work limitations, the contour you can draw for your job. On that, how you'll treat a man, treat me also. But that means it is important that we draw equality in true sense. You can't have demands for privileges. Mahila hai ki nahi chalega, kaam mein dikhao.
And in fact, the media has already analyzed what you wore today, what you wore last
I
year,
know.
what you wore 2 years ago. And they sort of connect so many stories to all of them.
Good evening, ma'am. My name is Abhilash. I am from Odisha, and currently I am pursuing MBA at IIM Bodhgaya. Ma'am, you spoke about the orange economy today. So should the youth view it as a mainstream career in the future, such as IT sector, or primarily it is motivated toward a creator or a startup ecosystem? We as a youth all are here are keen to understand what is the policy intent behind it, ma'am.
It's a fantastic area to aspire to be in. There's so much promise. Entertainment today is not just through films. You're very familiar how gaming and everything else online going, not the moneyed ones, but not where you pay money and bet and all that. You know, quite a few decades ago in Japan, you must have heard of this also, the Ghibli studio, and also the way in which Ramayana itself was presented. It's such a fascination for India. We have a lot of people who can do all that. But where is the opportunity? And also, I'm sure, I have a daughter grown up, so I'm sure, hey, isme kyun ja rahe ho bhai, isme kya hoga? IT padho ya become engineer, you get fantastic jobs. We believe there's no opportunity because there's no opportunity otherwise in India. We have to create opportunities, and that's why since the last budget, consistently we are making sure that we bring in policy for it, money for it, everything. And there was one big conference, global conference, Waves, which was held in Mumbai. What interest was there in it? And actually today the television media depends on these kind of inputs. So yes, it's a bright area to go in, and it has so many varieties. Your creativity can be challenged every day. If you have the aptitude, you should go into that.
Rani is from Odia and she would like to ask a question in Odia, ma'am, and I will translate it.
Yeah, sure.
आप ओडिया में पूछ सकते हैं.
शुभ संध्या मैम मोर नाम राणी रहित सेंचुरियन यूनिवर्सिटी ओडिशा रु आसी आईटीआई क्षेत्र मैम मु आदिवासी अंचल रु आसी आम आदिवासी अंचल पिला माने बाहर को जीवा पाए बहुत सुजोग मिलुची किंतु भाषागत हेतु आमे योग्य स्थान को पहुंची पारुना ए समस्यार समाधान पाई बजेट रे किछि सुविधा रही कि जद्वारा आमे आत्मविश्वासर सह हिंदी एवं इंग्राजी रे कहबार सक्षम हो पारिबो.
एक्चुअली रानी राय तो बोल रहे हैं, एक्चुअली ट्राइबल एरिया जो है उनका बहुत सारा अपॉर्चुनिटी मिला है बाहर जाने के लिए, इस टाइप का कॉन्फ्रेंस अटेंड करने के लिए, लेकिन उनका प्रॉब्लम है हिंदी एंड इंग्लिश वो वीक है. वो ये नहीं है, उसका एरिया में जो ट्राइबल एरिया है सब कुछ उन लोग ऐसे ही है. तो ये बजट में ऐसे कुछ है क्या जो ये जो गैप बिटवीन इन इंग्लिश एंड हिंदी फुलफिल करने के लिए ऐसे कुछ बजट पास हुआ क्या, इसमें पॉइंट है क्या, ये पूछ रहे हैं.
First of all, you tell her I'm very proud of her. Frankly, ये बात कहना कि मुझे ओडिया आता है मगर हिंदी और इंग्लिश में कमजोर हूं, मगर क्या कुछ बजट के द्वारा इसका सुलझाने के लिए रास्ता है? यही है ना? मैं ये बात बोल रही हूँ, इस बार या हर बार बजट में ये जो बात बोला जाता है वो बड़े पैमाने पर, छोटे छोटे विषय एज इट इज एग्जीक्यूट हो रहे, उसको मैं बजट में, क्योंकि 90 मिनट्स में कितने बोलूंगी, मगर इंग्लिश और हिंदी के लिए उड़ीसा जैसे स्टेट में, दूर दराज इलाके में बहुत प्रावधान है, आप सीख सकते हैं. दूसरा, आजकल बिकॉज ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी आप ऑनलाइन सीख सकते हैं, कोर्सेस बहुत सारे हैं, इंग्लिश भी है, हिंदी भी है, उसका प्रावधान दे सकते हैं.
Normally on a budget day, I still remember my own father, he would look for, has cement price come down, steel price come down, and that was what was a priority then. So a lot of announcements get made on the budget day. But from your perspective, what should citizens look for over the next year to truly assess whether the budget is succeeding on their behalf or not?
See, budget is not just taxes. Budget has a lot of schemes. Does that make me feel that issues related to my life are being addressed through these schemes? That's one thing you can have a look. Second thing, again, looking at taxes. Is the government being consistent? Last year they increase, this year they bring down, next year they again increase. Or on the same item they go on increasing. And then, is there a larger message? Is it going to help, let's say, one particular section? Poorer sections are going to benefit, or middle class is benefiting. If not, you should highlight it also. So in these, and most of the things are so transparent about the budget nowadays. Earlier, if you're saying, Bala, about cement prices, that was a priority, because everything was controlled. You can only produce this many bags of cement, while the country would need, let's say, 1,000 bags. They would be told, you produce 10, you produce 2, you produce 8. An artificial scarcity, because everything was controlled. And when it is controlled, even if it is 10, when it goes to the market, there will be such a demand. Whereas now what you're seeing in India is all these controls have been taken out. If a producer thinks he's got the capacity to produce 1,000 bags, let him produce. Similarly, for him to get the raw materials, infrastructure is improved. So he's able to get the raw material at affordable cost. He's able to transport it to the place where the market is at affordable cost. So that 400 rupees is not the question. 60 rupees he produces, another 20 rupees for logistics, another 10 rupees for some markup. You will get it well within 100 rupees. Efficiencies of productions works today, whereas control worked then.
Coincidentally, ma'am, only today, there's been a recognition that India's growth story is going to move the world's economy. And we have displaced the US from number one, and we have become number one in that. So it's a nice news to hear on a budget day. I know.
I'm sure many of you all are very active in social media. You would have seen. I'm just quoting this name not because there's a particular reason. Elon Musk takes the IMF data to say, wow, is this true? You know, that kind. I don't remember what exactly he said. Wow, he said, or something else he said. China contributes 26% of growth in GDP, global GDP. India contributes 17%. Together, 43% of global GDP growth comes from these two economies. Did any of you see that tweet? What does that convey? I will say this from my side in the parliament. But India's opposition should also understand that this is the kind of strength that India has acquired now. Next only to China. The gap may be big, 26 and 17. We'll bridge it. But we should have the confidence that together with a big economy which is just next door, we contribute 43% of global GDP growth. And we are living in that India.
My name is Jyoti Meena. I'm from Alwar district of Rajasthan, and I'm currently pursuing MBA from FMS Delhi. So, ma'am, as data is new fuel and AI is new electricity, and today only you have announced high-powered this education to employment and enterprise standing committee, which will also assess the impact of these new emerging technology, including AI. So understanding the impact of AI is equally important, but how government will actually ensure that the benefit of AI will actually reach the grassroots level of the society, especially to the rural and the aspirational district, because as they will be contributing a large chunk to the Viksit Bharat by 2047.
Spot on, right question also. And I'll tell you, we've already had 3 states running a pilot program where, let's say, 4 or 5 districts will be brought together, not physically, but they're all going to be plug and play. One of the district will have a hub for AI training center. It could be the local ITI, for which equipments will be enhanced, not the ITI which remains without any investment in it. That hub will specialize in AI usage for that area specialists. Like you come from Rajasthan, if I were to take 1 district or 2 districts which have these kind of activities, handicraft making, jewelry making, or sanganer, print wale, then there is something else happening in metalworks. Suppose 3 or 4 such districts are brought together, and 1 district has the master or the AI experts who come and make programs for, or tools, AI tools derived from AI, which can benefit textile in one or tools in another. This center will be the hub, and in those particular districts which specialize in one product, for instance, AI labs will be set up to improve productivity. That AI lab will not be left only to the trainer. Anybody who comes will be trained there. He can go back to his unit and say, all right, now I see benefit of this. Should I invest and make my unit AI adaptable? Suppose he decides, yes, I want my unit to be AI adaptable. Government of India gives you scheme to put the money for it so that your unit can become AI adaptable. As a result, he is using AI. He may be from a district, but because of this exposure which is given by this hub and spoke model, through district level ITIs, it is taken down to the people. AI will reach the concerned people who want it through government investment. And now we are taking it to the schools and colleges. The standing committee will advise them continuously as to how to improve college education, school education, and bring in AI into it.
We are aiming at 10% of global share in service sector by 2047. But as you know, major part of the service sector is unorganized in India. How are we going to approach this, and how are we going to try to formalize the informal sector?
Good question. Service sector need not just be IT related. Service sector can be hospitality. Service sector can be tourism. Service sector can be catering. Service sector now is across several domains. So for each domain, we'll have to get the inputs from the concerned in the unorganized sector, as it were, and then design policy instruments through which we'll be able to reach them. It's a question of reaching the last mile that Balasubramaniam spoke about. Reach the last people. Once you know what is it that they want, you'll have to tailor policies accordingly. And that has been the subject of study by 3 or 4 departments. And that is why HRD has today come to the service sector, has come to be understood by the ministries concerned, MSME, IT, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. All of them come together to say, we'll have to do something on this.
Good evening, ma'am, first of all. I'm Jashanpreet Singh. I'm from Mohali, Punjab, and currently I'm pursuing economics at Shri Ram College of Commerce. Ma'am, since in today's budget you talked about the creation of rare earth corridors. So I wanted to know that in these corridors, are we going to limit ourselves to the mining and the basic processing, or are we going to climb up the value chain and also making high value components like EV magnets and all of it.
You're sinking. You feel the pressure, the unknown. It's closing in. You try to stay strong, but the worries of the future feel like they're pulling you under. Life seems chaotic and out of control. In the storms of life, where do you turn? In times of uncertainty, there is one that will carry you through. He is an anchor of hope and peace. That anchor is Jesus, God's Son, who died on the cross for you. He took our burdens upon himself, then rose from the dead to offer eternal life to anyone who asks forgiveness and trusts in him. When things feel unstable, you don't have to drift through the unknown alone. Let Jesus be the anchor that holds you steady. Click to connect with an online volunteer to learn more about starting a relationship with Jesus.
Z, ma'am, and so they are used to rapid fire questions.
Yeah, whoever wants it.
A rapid fire question for you. My name is Isha Haldar. I'm pursuing mathematics at Vishwabhati University, Shantiniketan. And my question to you will be, if you had to describe in one word, like we are the youth. We are like, I am 19 years old, and as a 19-year-old, what were your inspirations and aspirations? If you had to describe them in one word, then what would it be?
I had to come away from the place where I was living. Of course, you are in a wonderful university. I love it. In fact, you know, when I was young, in my family, it used to be one of the things they said, Shantiniketanla poi padikano. Anybody understands Tamil? You understand, right? It used to be something which my family used to tell us. If at all you have to study, you have to go to Shantiniketan. You know, that kind of a great affection for your university. Yeah, 19-year-old, my dream was to come to Delhi, study either in Delhi University or in JNU. And my parents were fully supportive of it. I wasn't the first girl to get out of my state to go and study somewhere else. There have been some elders in my family who's done it. One fine day, I just said, right, I'm going. And those days, we didn't have this examination, you know, all India examination. You can write it from wherever you want. No, I had to come to JNU. I had to come to Delhi University and write my entrance. But much before Delhi University, I had, because I was coming from economics background, I could write exam because I was so determined. I have to be in Delhi to study, JNU to study. So I wrote the exam for economics, I wrote the exam for political science, I also wrote the exam for CSRD, Center for Social Sciences Research and Development, essentially geography and geography. And luckily, I had seat in all the three. So as a 19-year-old, I came all the way from my place. It wasn't a direct train from Tiruchi to Erode to take a train which was coming from Kerala all the way which came to Delhi. And at that time, Delhi was big fascination for me for academics. I can still remember that one day when I left home. My father couldn't come all the way to leave me in Erode. I had to take and change a train there. From Tiruchi to Erode is a broad meter gauge, I think, those days. And then from Erode, it was broad gauge coming to Delhi. That itself was an experience. But I can, if you ask me to draw, and if I had the skill to draw, I'll be able to draw because my mind is full of that picture of waiting in that station, getting into the train with a fear in the mind, saying, what's going to happen? I'm going to Delhi alone. Oh, but not a regret.
And today you announce high-speed corridors.
Corridor, yes.
मेरा नाम सौम्या पटेल है। मैं विश्व भारती शांति निकेतन से और मध्य प्रदेश जबलपुर की रहने वाली हूँ। मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि मैं अभी बीए ऑनर्स इन हिंदी से थर्ड ईयर में ग्रेजुएशन कर रही हूँ। तो अगर आप मेरी जगह होती तो क्या जो अलग अलग सेक्टर्स है उसमें बजट और फाइनेंस को रखती, क्योंकि यहाँ से आने से पहले मुझे बजट का कोई भी नॉलेज नहीं था, बट जब यहाँ पे आई और देखी तो मैंने देखा कि बजट के अंदर इतनी सारी चीज़ें हैं जो हम यूथ को जानना बहुत ज़रूरी है, क्योंकि कल सर ने कहा कि समाज, सरकार और बाज़ार एक साथ चलना चाहिए, तब बजट भी काम करता है और देश भी काम करता है। तो क्या आप मेरी जगह होती तो अलग अलग सेक्टर्स में, लाइक मेरा हिंदी सब्जेक्ट है, तो क्या आप वहाँ पे बजट और फाइनेंस को लेके कुछ करती या फिर रखती?
सो आपका ना ऑलरेडी हिंदी में इतना बढ़िया बोल रही हो, आप अगले बजट आप तैयार कर सकते हो। कोई दिक्कत नहीं, मगर विषय ये बात है कि लैंग्वेज के वजह से हम कोई कुछ कमजोरी मानना नहीं चाहिए। और एजुकेशन के संदर्भ में मैं बोलना चाहती हूँ, अगर आप लैंग्वेज का महत्व समझते हैं, जो भी हिंदी हो, ओडिया हो, बंगाली हो, जो भी हो, एजुकेशन का वैल्यू भी समझ करके उसके अनुसार प्लान भी कर सकते हैं। मैं वो बात में आ रही हूँ कि आप हिंदी में मास्टरी है, मगर लाइफ में लैंग्वेज का इंपॉर्टेंस के द्वारा टेक्निकल लैंग्वेज, सामान्य लोग के लैंग्वेज और क्लास में पढ़ने का लैंग्वेज, इन सब में ही इतने सारे काम कर सकते हैं। टेक्नोलॉजी का उपयोग करो। आज भाषिनी, ये सब particular program that Government of India runs, digital, इसमें multilingual capability है, उसमें कितने आप contribute कर सकते हैं। ऐसे you can think in multifarious ways.
I'm also tempted to ask you one word answer, ma'am. What leadership skill or what leadership lesson budget making has taught you? Because you've done this for 9 years now.
Working, teamwork. Wonderful. One word answer.
Excellent.
Hello, ma'am. I am Aditya Anand from IIM Ahmedabad. I am been born and brought up in Bihar, Muzaffarpur. We would like to ask you about question regarding agriculture. Now, most of the agriculture becomes economically feasible because economy of scale come into picture. Normally, farmers have large area of land. In a country like India, where 86% of the land is almost fragmented, how does the government address this scenario where agriculture needs to be made profitable for small farmers?
Most of the measures of the government on agriculture are for small farmers. And that's why you give them cash in hand so that they don't suffer for want of few, seeds purchase or family medicine purchase and so on. But what is more technology driven and which is worth it is you have geospatial technologies helping in mapping the holding of the farmer. Now, small farmers have a problem when their documents are very ambiguously written. They can't go pledge the document in the bank and get some loan, or sometimes because of the ambiguity, it gets into dispute and he spends his entire lifetime fighting in courts to get his land. So the exercise which government is doing is using satellite to help map the contours of the possession of the farmer, small farmer, give him a legitimate document saying, which is approved by the local authority. And with that document today, he becomes empowered enough to use that as a document for, taking a loan from the bank, or using that to build something on his land, or grow something else in his land. And when contractors, genuine ones who come to buy the product from them, they know actually what is the extent this crop is going to be. And again, geospatial, you'll be able to map it, saying how much is the crop density, what will be the yield. So technology today has made small farmers' lives better, but many more small farmers will have to be benefited from this.
Any questions on this side? Yeah, please go.
My name is Amisha Tete. I'm currently pursuing BCom Honors from Sri Ram College of Commerce, Delhi University, and I'm originally from Jharkhand. And today was one of the busiest days of your life. So we all are very intrigued to know what a normal or a daily day looks like in your life as a finance minister.
Well, it starts early, ends late, but I don't allow it to be late beyond, let's say, 8:30 or 9. But it's, in a way, nice and challenging. It's very gratifying if you've had a day where you have done your job benefiting so many people, or you corrected some wrong in the policy, or you're able to pick up on issues which will be relevant for people and therefore give it a shape and then, bring a cost value to it and then go push it to the authorities to clear it department-wise. And also when you hear from people that certain schemes which have benefited them have actually indeed benefited them. Like, for instance, last year we gave income tax exemption up to 12 lakh. I have come across, I didn't go desperately to meet them, but they would say, hey, you, 1 minute. I'm able to now have some money in my hand because I can spend them on my child's education. Or I'm building a floor up because I'm able to pay better EMI. So when you hear such things, you have made a difference to some people's lives.
Good evening, ma'am. This is Ravi Kumar Yadav from Guru Ghasidas Vishwavidyalaya. I am from Chhattisgarh. Ma'am, we are moving towards Indian Semiconductor Mission 2.0. Ma'am, do you think India is prepared to address the mission amid global geopolitical issues?
Yeah, there can be challenges, but when was the world without challenges? In 2019, when I entered the finance ministry, we thought liquidity was in shortage, the economy is in trouble. Oh my God, how will we solve this problem? No bank wants to lend because there were cases against them. But when 2020 came and COVID came, we thought last year was a cakewalk. 2020, we thought, oh my God, this is terrible. How will we manage? Where will the vaccine come? How will we reach food, first of all? How will we reach medicine, first of all, to people who are in locked up situation? Okay, we thought we gotten over it. Then came the first wave or second wave, when, my God, the fear of casualties, everybody was worried. We gotten out of it, and then we were growing nicely, and people said, no, it's K-shaped growth, A-shaped growth, B-shaped growth, C-shaped. I mean, come on, we are growing, be happy. And we have to keep it up. No, hey, it's not growth. You know, India and Bharat, all that debate came. So challenges keep coming. You think this is the ultimate of challenge you've got? Next year proves that this is wrong. Next year brings even worse. So that's the whole.
Brahmi, you wanted to ask something? You raised your hand.
Namaste, madam. I am Brahmi, pursuing BSc Honours Economics at Central University of Andhra Pradesh. Madam, would it be appropriate to consider presenting a separate budget simultaneously with the general budget for the borrowing loans by the respective governments of center and state, treating the loans taken as a source of revenue and their utilization as the expenditure, so that for the purpose of accountability and transparency in lending? Thank you.
I can appreciate that. Accountability should be there. But who are they accountable to? Who am I accountable to? Who am I accountable to, and who are they accountable to? They are accountable to their legislative assembly. People have elected MLAs and sent them there. The government, or if you're talking about the government, which obviously if they're borrowing, it will be the government. And if they have to be accountable, they have to be accountable to that elected house. Elected house for Government of India is Parliament. State assemblies are where the state governments will have to be answering. So yes, I'm with you on accountability, but it has to happen only at the state level. The moment you, like you suggest, if I were to do it, they say, who are you? I'm elected here, I'm an elected government here, I'm expected to take care of my people, don't come in. And that won't be right as well. But in borrowing, the union government has an authority. Under Article 293 of the Constitution, you can question a state if it exceeds its borrowing beyond the Financial Responsibility Budget Management Act, FRBM Act. If they cross that limit, I can question them. Reserve Bank can cut off funding for them on certain things. They will not allow them to come to the market to borrow, and so on. So there's a way in which we can ask them.
Yeah, Danya, you want to say something?
Good evening, ma'am. We want to know about what's your opinion about developing AI in India. Will it increases the unemployment, or it decreases the unemployment? As a medical student, I'm considering our profession. So people are developing, technology is developing. They are making their diagnosis there itself by knowing the symptoms, and they are taking treatment there itself, themselves, and prognosis also they are seeing. So will it AI replaces the doctor, or will it help the doctors? What's your opinion about that?
Like all technology, It comes with its own challenges. If you're able to harness it for the benefit of people, it will play within that role. If you go exceeding certain limits, it becomes unethical. If you use it excessively, like in countries abroad where population is declining, they have senior citizens, no productive age, younger people. They try to substitute many of the things that working age person has to do with robots and, Internet of Things and so on. But in a country like India, where you have absolutely revving to go youth who want to do things, who want to do it for themselves, who want to contribute to the society, AI should still be helpful to reduce the monotony, as I said a bit earlier, to give us greater advantage in productivity. What you can do in 5 hours, if using AI, you are able to do it in 2 hours. The rest 3 hours you can do for something else. In bringing precision, if you need something in technology which has to help you in precision, not precision like when you do handwork. That precision, if machine does, it won't have the same finesse. So certainly it is not to replace, but to better human work. By bringing better productivity, precision, removing the monotony, and being also imaginative in which way it can get you things done, and so on. So we'll have to be conscious of how we want to use it.
Ms. Lakshya Shekhawat from Rajasthan, currently pursuing BSc Honours degree from AIMS Nagpur. Honourable Minister, Budget Session 2026 had provided a significant or visionary increase in Ayush and allied health sciences. But the nursing department, the nursing profession, yet said that there is a decline in the nursing profession. Even after 24/7, nursing profession is giving care to patient. In any profession or any budget allocation for this sector also?
Of course, when I say allied health, it also includes nursing.
Good evening, ma'am. I'm so grateful to be able to be given the opportunity to speak with you today. My name is Rohani Bakru. I'm a final year BCom Honours student studying at LSR, Delhi University. Ma'am, what I was hoping to understand from you is that what aspects of leadership do our students probably underestimate when it comes to policy-making roles such as yours?
Self-confidence. If you believe in yourself as much as you should, and not doubt about yourself, not wonder I can do it or not, I don't have anybody to help, you don't get into any of this. So your self-confidence is what you have to estimate appropriately and not underestimate it. Nothing is impossible for somebody who's confident. But it should not be overconfidence either. So you have to do a fine balancing there. Okay? You get where I'm going, right? So confidence is one thing which is underestimated. If every Indian feels confident to do things, not overconfident, imagine where this country can go.
You notice a lot, ma'am.
Ma'am, what I feel is each and every student or each and every citizen, whatever they talk or whatever the statement they have given is just an opinion or a perspective. Whereas sitting in the honorable position, each and every word matters and each and every statement becomes a policy. In such a scenario...
You're frightening me. I'm freewheeling my thoughts here. No. And here's somebody saying, hey, you better...
Watch out. And he's persuaded himself to ask that question.
So, ma'am, to frame this union budget, so inclusive growth and development for the Viksit Bharat 2047, and how we as youth can take and design the decision making in our lives. The decision making to draft a unique and a comprehensive growth and policies for the next Viksit Bharat in such a manner how, being a youth, we can take or design our own decision making in our lives.
See, there are many things you have to keep observing. One is you're a student, you have your, you'll have to clear your course, you have to design yourself in such a way that you move to the next one, higher education or take up a job opportunity. Even as you're doing all this, you have to watch what is happening around you. And you have to watch what is the kind of direction the government or, let's say, large institutions are doing. Large institutions, I don't mean just companies. Educational institutions, medical institutions, trading bodies, things like that. If you see them and if you're able to observe what they're doing, you'll find a pattern adapting to times, not being averse to technology, getting new and old people to work together, giving back something to the community. These are kind of things which are beyond that self-interest that I'm talking about. Self-interest, where you want to make profit, you want to keep your family happy, you want to earn more. Aside from this, observe institutions. What is that trend which is coming up? What's the government doing? And once you notice that, and once you're able to form some kind of a sense out of what's happening, then you will know what kind of way in which you have to move, towards those sort of things. Because that will build you and also give you a role to play in the society.
After I'll let you speak. Yeah, Bashir, you want? I was just worried about your time, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am. I'm Basira from Karnataka, pursuing my master's in vegetable science from University of Horticulture Sciences, Bagalkot, Karnataka.
Vegetable science?
Yes.
Wow, I didn't know that there was a course like that. I've heard of agricultural sciences. Wow.
Ma'am, अगर ज़िंदगी में कोई नई चीज़ होती है तो एक चीज़ एक दिन नहीं लगती है, दूसरी दिन नहीं लगती है. अगर वही चीज़ हर रोज़ होने लगी तो हमें उसकी आदत पड़ जाती है और लगता है कि इसमें कोई तो नई बात नहीं है. मैं ये पूछना चाहती हूँ कि does presenting budget for 9 consecutive years make responsibilities heavier or clearer?
Heavier.
Expectations also so much from
Expectations, but each year comes with a new challenge. Please sit down. It comes with a new challenge, and each year you're proving that you're worthy of where you are. The more number of years you are in a job, people tend to think, theek hai, unko laga liya. No, you can't afford to do that. Every year you have to stand up to prove yourself. That is as much, I don't want to say stressful, but it weighs in your thoughts. Because you've got to perform before a live set of very informed people, people with experience, people who have come from the ground, people who know what people are looking for, common people are looking for. And you have to stand up before them and speak. And after that, you have to stand up before them to answer every one of their questions. So, 8 बार कर दिया तो 9वीं बार आसान नहीं है.
I am Satyam Kumar from Muzaffarpur, Bihar, and I am currently pursuing MBA from IIM Bodh Gaya. So, as a management student, India's systematic approach towards carbon avoidance has been a case study for us. But this time around, government has come forward with a new way, carbon capture, utilization, and storage. So how does this align with India's way of carbon avoidance for last decade, or does it overshadow India's previous investment in this field?
No, it won't overshadow the previous investment. But what it does now is there are strategies through which you're able to effectively capture the carbon utilization. So we want those technologies to be in the ground. Equally as much as measuring, it's also probably going to trade. And if you trade, you're giving benefit to those regions which cannot have that technology. So it has several layers to it to bring that success. But even though 2070 appears to be very far off, it's not really far off for the extent to which we have to do the exercise. And by which time India will be so different. Unless we do it now and begin doing it now to take it forward, future generations can always say, what is this? This set of people who lived 50 years ago knew all about it, didn't do it. Damn. We want to be responsible people, responsible citizens, responsible government. And therefore, we have spent quite some time in formulating this. And I think it will give us a very good beginning.
Hello, ma'am. Good evening. I am Dhiresh from Bareilly, Uttar Pradesh.
and I pursuing BCom honors from Sri Ram College of Commerce. Most of the people are talking and asking about the budget, but as a human being, I want to know that what makes you happy in your life?
Wow. Listening to music, reading a book.
Good evening, ma'am. I'm Aditi Anand from Lady Shri Ram College of Women. I'm currently pursuing BCom honors and I come from Uttar Pradesh. So, ma'am, every year, people of India have expectations from government, from the budget, and you prepare the budget as per that. What are the expectations that the government has or you have from the people of India, from the youth of India that we are here? So, from the citizens of India, what are the expectations of the government? I would really like to know.
About the students, about the citizens. We want them to be very aware of what's going on around them. Awareness is important. What do I mean by awareness? Just knowing something? Oh, budget is going to be prepared and it will be presented on 1st February. That's awareness. But is that enough? That's not enough. What kind of awareness then I'm talking about? So you need to see the situation and also the reality around it. Take the instance of, let us say, one scheme. I will bring something to help the textile sector. If your response is going to be, when you are aware there is a scheme coming, but if your information says that this will help only those who are doing, people who are in Coimbatore, Surat and all that, you are aware, but it makes no difference. Whereas if you're aware and you're able to see that this is a way in which that sector is getting support, new people can also enter it, and in order to help people understand what is it actually saying, you go online, understand it, and probably among people your age, say, is it worth business for India to go in? There is an inherent advantage. Should we do it? Should we not? Would you like to do it? Will I like to do it? Just keep churning the thought among yourself. One. Second, also the scheme comes through, it works, it doesn't work, it partly works. If in case you meet up with somebody, it's one of the things which you have to acquire. Conversational skill. You are meeting a set of people who come, like this group. What you're asking, what you're talking, you could probably talk to this girl who's come from Odisha. Her understanding of her society there, and your understanding being a Delhiite, or somebody else who's come from Shantiniketan. Conversational skill is not just for, will you share my drink? Do you have do you go for a stand-up comedy and show? Not just that, talk that also. But if you have a bit more deep conversation, your perspective on different things around you will itself open up avenues for you. You can decide where you want to be, you can decide what you want to do, and you can also understand from the experience of somebody else who's the same age as you are, coming from a totally different perspective, a very valid perspective. Not just your perspective, but even that perspective is valid. Then you know the world is from different angles. That brings a different individual inside you to come out. You don't know what lies inside you till actually you meet up with people of different spectrum. And you will be surprised who you will become afterwards. And that's so beautiful, I'm telling you, when you draw the person from inside you, who you didn't know earlier. It brings out the best from you. And you actually feel very happy about yourself. You should try each time.
Good evening, ma'am. My name is Tejas Chabra. I'm from Bangalore, and I'm currently pursuing my master's in economics at Shivnada University. At the outset, I would like to thank you for this opportunity, not just to interact with you, but to visit Parliament. Just as you were awestruck, I think it's a civilizational icon to visit the Parliament and see proceedings. So it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. My question is, over the last decade, there's been a lot of investment in capital expenditure, both at the center and the state level, across multiple projects across states. Given how some of the states' fiscal positions are you at all concerned about a crowding out effect on private investment in some states?
If you're looking at it from the point of view of capital, money that is available in the market, crowding out because of the excessive borrowing or whatever, one or two states cannot crowd out. But it starts giving that sense that maybe we are getting crowded out. And that's exactly what we have to avoid. But how do we avoid it? The market has its own mechanisms. The moment you know that it is getting heated up because of government borrowing, the yields go up. Crowding out happens at that time. The markets are indicating to you it's getting crowded out. And the private will suffer. But market corrects itself. It might correct itself with a lag, but it does correct itself. But in the meanwhile, public outcry also comes out, saying, what's happening? Why do you have to borrow so much? There are one or two states where people have started questioning. So, systems correct it, but with a time lag.
I think there's so much you're given for the youth in today's budget. One thing that stood out for a person like me was a lot of young people have a lot of talent, especially in sports. But some of the space and ecosystem for them to nurture it and grow into it was not there. But today in Khelo India Mission, you're given a sort of an integrated talent development pathway. Could you help us all understand what is in it for the young people of India so they can prepare for upcoming events?
Everything is in it for young people of India. Into sports, who will come in? Only those who are in their teens. Only those who are in their young 20s. So it's all for you. It's all for you because it's not also an open-ended thing. You will have Commonwealth Games being held in India. Subsequently, India is pitching for the Olympics. Things in sports are happening in India. And no better time to plunge into sports if you have the inclination. And there's just so many sporting activity that you can be engaged in. Doesn't have to be one. It doesn't always be in games, only cricket, track and field. So much happening. So yes, best time for Indian young people to get into sports.
Myself, Bhavya. I am currently pursuing my BSc Honours Nursing from AIMS Nagpur, and I'm originally from Haryana. Ma'am, we all want to know where your energy levels come from. Like, you were in the parliament, you have given your speech on budget, then you interacted with party, then with media, and now you are here with us, full of energy. Even we all as youth, it's difficult to match your energy levels. So we want to know, ma'am, where this energy comes from.
No, it's not just me. Look at the Prime Minister. My God, the energy that he has. So, I think one triggers the other. You see people with you. As I said, it's a contagion. When people around you are energetic and want to do things and they're making a difference, they're making an impact, you would want to be equally energetic. So that's why it's always important to keep the correct company, you know. From young, you'll have to be with people who can bring in that kind of a contagion. People who are confident, people who want to learn things, people who want to, you know, do things with a positivity. Not somebody who's, kuch nahi hoga bhai. No. And people who want to read and share thoughts. People who have some collective interests. Hey, let's all go do something. You know, it can be social work, it can be go and listen to a music concert, whichever be it. I'm not saying you should listen only to classical music. Listen to anything. But once you have that camaraderie, the sense of belonging, sense of being together, you learn from one another as to which are the qualities which are, you know, helpful. And then you build yourself up. So that's where you have to keep the right company. So when our elders said, tell me your friends, then I'll tell you who you are. It's not without reason. Keep good company. Don't get drawn even for a moment with small time talk. Fellow sits around, wastes his time, talks around something. It might be entertaining, but not always. Don't do that. And please, till such a time you all have your life settled, you're earning, you've got your family, you have some goals. You don't need to be driven mad for ambition and, goal setting. But till such a time, let me sound old-fashioned, keep yourselves away from temptation. You have to climb ladders of different levels. Compete. You can be a musician, you can be a painter, you can be anything. I'm not saying all of you all should become IT engineers and start coding. No. Do something. There will always be a time when you can put up your feet and say, Chal, I'm going to Maldives, I'm going to have a great holiday. Do it. But not till you reach some level. And these are the formative years when you can do such wonderful things.
Good evening, ma'am. I'm Varsha from Sambalpur, Odisha. And I am pursuing...
Lovely saris from Sambalpur.
Yes, ma'am. We have known all over the world for Sambalpuri saris. And the handloom is extremely pretty.
Absolutely.
And recently I had gotten a chance to visit the handloom where the entire sari is made. So it is extremely pretty.
Amazing.
And it's,
what
very
kind
different.
of designs they make? Yeah, amazing.
And the fun fact is, ma'am, the colors are first embedded onto the threads. After that, the sari is being worn. Ma'am, my question is, you have been an inspiration for all of us here today. So what inspires you the most? And on a day like this, when the entire nation is watching you, what goes through your mind?
No, what inspires me is, don't mistake me, I honestly feel, if I don't have work, I'll feel, what's wrong with me? Work motivates me. Work meaning, is it finance minister's work? No, any work. I've done variety of things before reaching here, and I can't see really at any one point in time me feeling, why am I doing this? No, anywhere where I was, if there was work, I was engrossed into it and I used to like it. So work motivates me. I just do, right, I have to read this, I read it. And afterwards when people say you've done this, done that, and all that, I said, okay. Not till I go back to my house do I get a complete feel of what happened that day. And then it's anyway too late to react. I sleep off, I get up, I do the next day the same way. But sometimes it overwhelms you. Oh my God, people are watching you, you've done this. And without God's grace, I couldn't have done what I've done all this while. I constantly believe it's impossible humanly, I would think in my limitation, impossible to have come this far from where I've begun. Without grace, I can't dream of it. Immense karuna of Sri Krishna.
Thank you.
I think we can keep going on. Ma'am, today it's been not just the finance minister talking to all of us. We saw shades of a mother in you, a counselor, a mentor, a masterclass in leadership, so many things rolled into one. I know you've had a long day, ma'am. We can keep going on, but any closing thoughts before we wind down the session?
Thank you for coming today. I really like the thought that you've taken the trouble to come and be here, watch the... First of all, I want one or two of you all to tell me, what was the feeling when you sat in that parliament? One person told me about it, you told me. Today, is it?
मैं संबलपुर उड़ीसा से हूँ, गंगाधर मेरी यूनिवर्सिटी, मैं एमए मास्टर कर रहा हूँ अभी इकोनॉमिक्स में। मैम आज जो कुछ हम पढ़ते थे, कुछ फोटो में देखते थे, आज लाइव देखने का मिल रहा, वो लाइफ टाइम नहीं भूल पाएंगे हम लोग।
First, when I entered the parliament, I couldn't process for 5 minutes because it felt unreal. And when I entered, I saw you speaking like reading the budget, but since I couldn't process, I was just, trying to figure out who all are sitting where. So this was, I think everybody was feeling the same. So yeah, it was an amazing experience. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
तो आप में कुछ चेंज जो आपने खुद में महसूस किया, the first time and this last time?
I asked you a question. मैंने आपसे पूछा कि पार्लियामेंट में बैठे हुए आपको क्या लगा, आप तुरंत मुझे पूछ रही हो. नहीं, ठीक है. I'll tell you. As I said, each time it is new. Each time you feel you're doing it for the first time. I may have done it for the 9th time, but each time, till I finish it, it's like in a trance. I have to do this, I have to do this right, I have to keep my mind and thought and everything else. I should not be distracted. Each time is new time.
I belong to the Department of Political Science, where we continuously keep on reading about Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha, Parliament, Indian Constitution. For the first time, that to a new Parliament, it felt very exciting, ma'am, and our interaction session with you is really honored. And whenever I entered in the gallery, ma'am, I just looking, where is PM, where is Finance Minister, where is Jaishankar sir. Like continuously, I kept on watching where are our prominent ministerial portfolio people, from where, how it is live. First time I never saw before. So first time I kept on staring how ma'am is speaking, how ma'am is feeling, how she is able to handle this pressure. Everyone are looking at her. And many people are also giving small comments from the other side also. So I was observing each and everything, ma'am. It was really honored to meet you, ma'am. And thank you for this opportunity, ma'am.
Ma'am, to be honest, till last night a couple of us were discussing and we were not still able to digest that what we are here for. We were just thinking we are here in Delhi for some work. And we were not able to digest that tomorrow we are going to visit the parliament, the new parliament. We are going to hear the budget live and then have a session with you. Even now, at this moment, I think I'm still living a dream. And it's like, just as you said, after going back home, you will get time to internalize it and realize what you did. And I think the same will happen with all of us. Once we go back today to our guest house, we'll get some time and realize what we've actually been here, what we've done, and what kind of an opportunity, golden opportunity we've got. So thank you so much, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. I mean, I'm still in awe that I have visited the parliament, that I'm talking to you in the same, like we are in the same room. I'm still in awe. I still feel like it's unreal. But visiting the parliament, I mean, your room was the first room I actually recognized. It was G09. I still remember the number. And Dr. S. Jaishankar's room was right next to yours. It was G10. And I mean, looking at the leaders, looking at how decisions are being made, earlier we used to see them in Sunset TV or in some news channels, but seeing them with your own eyes, it was a very different experience that I'm not able to still process. I mean, I've lived it in the morning. I'm still in awe. So that was my experience, ma'am. Thank you.
So I felt very happy because I thought that how my father will be reacting after I will tell him that what I have experienced today. And I was genuinely feeling that this sari is very lucky because I was wearing the same sari in my UPSC interview. And today I am wearing the same in front of you, so I felt very happy.
So ma'am, honestly, when we entered the parliament, I don't know about everybody else, but I felt like a child entering into a park, and like I just wanted to experience everything there. And then when we finally entered the assembly area where you were giving the speech, so when I first looked into the big screen, it felt like I'm still watching it on screen, and like being there, listening to you, the budget, a few things were like, is it really happening, or I need to pinch myself to like feel like I'm really here. So it was really a dream come true moment for me. So thank you so much for the opportunity.
I think I speak for all of us that for initial 3-4 minutes, we all were completely starstruck. The first feeling that I have when I was sitting there and looking below, it was majestic. It was something that I didn't realize that it is a feeling I'm feeling right now. Even I don't know what I should name it, but I don't think I will be able ever to forget that feeling. Thank you for that.
मैं जब छोटी थी तो मेरे घर के जो लोग थे वो टीवी पर देखते थे कि आप जो हैं वो बजट पेश करें, तो मुझे बोलते थे कि तुम देखो, तो मैं उनको बोलती थी वो लेडी को देखा है आपने और मुझे देखा है उनके पास इतना नॉलेज है और मेरे पास कुछ भी नहीं है. तो मतलब इन माय लाइफ की मैं कुछ सर्टेन चीजें हैं उनको मैंने रॉन्ग किया था, लाइक विश्व भारती। कौन जाएगा उतना दूर 2 दिन पढ़ने के लिए, और लाइक मतलब यहाँ पे भी ये पार्लियामेंट वगैरह मैं कैसे आ सकती हूँ। बट लाइक उन्होंने बोला कि मतलब सपने की तरह लग रहा है। मुझे यहाँ आके ऐसा लग रहा है कि अगर सच में आप खुली आंखों से सपने देखो तो शायद वो पूरे होते हैं। और अगर मैं इन्हीं खुली आंखों के साथ सपने देख रही हूँ और इन्हीं सपनों को अगर मोबाइल में कैप्चर कर पाऊँ सभी के साथ और आपके साथ, तो बहुत अच्छा होगा। Thank you.
Did you all notice when she speaks, not she in particular, but anyone, when they speak in their own mother tongue, the expression is distinctly different from when you speak in an acquired language. That acquired language can be English or Hindi or any other. But look at the way she conveyed. You know, what did she say? My eyes. What did she say? Khuli aankhon se sapne. What a beautiful way of saying, you know. We would say in English daydreaming or, you know, something of that kind. Oh, I'm not sure if I'm dreaming, something. But what a metaphorical way of saying I'm keeping my eyes open but still I feel I'm dreaming. That comes when you speak in a tongue which is native to you. That's why I want you all to be sure, irrespective of the medium of education, you should have a cultivated interest in your mother tongue. School में पढ़ लिया हो गया, वो नहीं है. पढ़ो किताब in that language, Odia, Bengali, और Rajasthani, Hindi से हट करके Rajasthani, you know, things like that. The beauty of conversation comes when expressions like that are heard. It's like a nice aromatic coffee, you know. That's the biggest thing I would convey to you all, you know. If you're able to have mastery over your language and your native language, any language is easy after that. But if you're stuttering and stammering in your own mother tongue, communication will be weak. If you can't communicate and communicate well, it need not always be podium speaking, debate competition. Even sitting around when you're talking with your people, some people capture your full attention. Why is that? Because of the way in which they convey a thought to you. Learn to acquire that. Acquire it and use it. Human beings are the only creatures who can speak. Speak and speak with your heart in it. Let maturity come through your mouth and you will be an automatic leader. You should strive to acquire it. वो खुद नहीं आएगा. You have to try and polish it. You'll stand out.
What an extraordinary day for us, ma'am. And these young people, I've been privileged to interact with them from yesterday. And with the kind of governance facilitation that the union government is doing, I'm sure Vikasit Bharat will happen much earlier than 2047. And once again, I thank you for, I know it's a long day, but your energy, like she said, is very envious. And thank you again for taking the time to talk to the people who will shape the country of tomorrow and will possibly take your budget in real time forward in terms of living it. Thank you again, ma'am.
हेलो
राजेश जी, मैं पुलिस थाने से बोल रहा हूँ।
फिर से?
आप डिजिटल अरेस्ट में हो, दूसरे कमरे में जाइए, अकेले। आपके पार्सल में ड्रग्स मिले हैं, लंबे जाएंगे। 10 लाख दीजिए, बच जाएंगे।
सर इतने कहाँ से?
एक लिंक भेजा है, अभी प्रोसेसिंग के लिए 2 लाख भेजिए, बाकी बाद में।
2 लाख?
क्या हुआ पापा?
बेटा ये कह रहे हैं कि मेरे पार्सल में से ड्रग्स मिले हैं।
अरे
काट दिया।
पैनिक मत कीजिए पापा, डिजिटल अरेस्ट जैसा कुछ नहीं होता है, ये सब फ्रॉड है।
फ्रॉड?
पुलिस, बैंक, आरबीआई इत्यादि के नाम से आने वाले